Would someone please, please get me out of Ohio? Oh, it's snowing again, and it's just enough to keep the roads slick. It's just cold enough to make the snow and not rain. We used to live in Pinellas County, Florida. Actually, for those of you there in Pinellas County, we used to live on Gulf Boulevard in Madeira Beach and over in Indian Rocks Beach. And we were right across the street from the beach. And I assume today, at the end of March, it's probably 70 plus degrees and the sun's shining. I, however, am stuck in temperatures of 29 to 30 degrees. There's snow outside. I've got cabin fever. Okay, enough whining. I'm here to do a couple of layout shares. At least I have my scrapbooking, right? I actually have another haul video to do, and maybe I'll get to that today. Not like I'm going swimming or anything else, so I might as well do my videos and spend time with my loved ones here on YouTube. Okay, let's get going. This is a double page layout. Every paper on here is from the basic gray, what's the name of the collection? My brain is frozen over. My brain has not had sunlight in so long with warm temperatures, because we did have some sun the other day, that it's frozen. What was the name? I'll leave it on the screen, guys. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, it's that basic gray collection from Joanne, and it's not Hey You or Hey Boy. It's the one before that. I'm thinking Serendipity, but I know that's wrong, because isn't the Hey You line their third one they're putting out? Yep, it is. I'm not that far gone. I remember that much. Anyway, all of this paper actually comes from that basic gray collection. You will see I cut some red cardstock out and made my little circle up here. These little alphabets, I forget who they're by, but I picked them up at TJ Maxx. At the end of last summer. Summer! Everything keeps reminding me of hot weather. I'm just kidding. Anyway, well, I'm not kidding. I'm really ready for winter to be over. But let's see. This is this is a button, and it's from the same collection. You know, guys, just about everything on here except this is from that collection. And these little tickets over here, they are Echo Park. Yeah, that's easy to describe. See my washi tape back here? That is from Paper Issues on Etsy. All the embellish. This is Jenny Bolin, and that's her new vintage line. Yeah, all these embellishments is from that basic gray collection. I like when that happens, although I feel so lazy when my whole layout is from one collection. Like if I use all of the same papers, all of the embellishments from one collection, and even one designer company, I feel lazy. I don't know why. And who cares? I am a lazy scrapper. But anyway, so that's the story on that. You'll see I inked around the edges. Kim Scrapper did a layout. No, it was a card. She inked around the edges using her distress ink from Rangers. I think it was antique something or another. It just looks so good that ever since I've been inking around my edges a lot more than I used to. Now, let's see. Let me tell you a little story about what's going on here. You know, these are my Christmas pictures. Not necessarily, a Christmas celebration, but this will go into my 2012 Christmas album. What I decided to do is to use whatever papers I want to use for the remaining Christmas pictures. Now, normally, even though this isn't like Kumbaya, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, around the tree type of pictures, it is from the Christmas season. And last year, I just did not color outside the lines, and I never went outside my comfort zone, and normally I would have put these pictures on Christmassy type of paper, and I would have decorated it with Christmassy type of embellishments. But this year, I am living on the edge. I'm just wild and crazy, breaking all the rules, and I use paper that's not, I was going to say not red and green, but it is red and green, but it's not all Christmassy. So, this is a picture. The boys, if you follow my videos, you know this story inside and out. But the boys actually got to spend a couple of nights with us over their Christmas winter break. Now, Logan, that's my step-grandson, he's in 3rd grade now, and he's Mr. Athlete, and he really has to split up his time because, he's got his mom and dad, they're separated. Then he has to spend time with his dad's mom, which is my husband's ex-wife and his grandma, and then he's got to spend time with us, and then he's got basketball. So we just don't get to have Logan as much as I would like. The good thing is, once I get him into this house, I can keep him for a couple of days. He'll come down and he'll say, I'm only going to spend one night, and I'm like, okay. But then I say, want some cookies and chocolate milk? Hey, want to jump on the bed? Hey, want to go swimming? The typical little boy, want some candy? I trick him, and then he usually ends up spending 2 or 3 nights. So if I can get him in this house, I can get him to stay more than one night with us. It's just getting Mr. Popular here. But this is like at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and they're still wide awake. They're in my family room, which is where I reside. It's the official Mama Vicky room in the house. And of course they picked my room to sleep in, which I'm glad. Listen, I'm glad they picked me. But at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, Nate asked if they could jump on the bed. And since I don't say no to Nate, I said yes. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, there they are, jumping on the bed. And what's worse than jumping on the bed at 2 o'clock in the morning? Me taking pictures of them jumping on the bed. But I really want to document these times. Christmas and Christmas break is just, it's a special time. And I don't do Project Life, but I do like to scrap your normal, ordinary, everyday. Sorry, Allie Edwards, I had to steal that off of you. So that's why I took these pictures. Plus, I'm a scrapbooker. Of course I'm going to take these pictures. So you'll see over here, Nate and Logie jumping and doing a little pose for the camera. Look, they look like they're sick because they're so tired. They got dark circles under their eyes. Nate has mismatched pajamas on. If they have dark circles, can you imagine how bad I looked? More pictures, and here's where they were plotting something or another, but I just love these photographs. And you'll see I got some buttons up here, and the title reads, not what number was that, and I gotta find just the right question mark to put here. But the reason that's the title is because Nate and I always play this game where no matter what he does, he says, Mama, what number was that? And I grade him on a 1 to 10 scale. That includes jumping on the bed, jumping into the pool, swimming in the pool, how fast can you brush your teeth and do it right, jumping off the steps. We just have little contests like that. And as you can imagine, he's never got a 1. He usually gets a 12. So that's why this is the title. You'll see behind here, I have this paper that has a whole bunch of numbers, which was just so great for this layout. And my journaling reads, the boys were so surprised when I said they could jump on the blow-up bed, as long as I was right there. Of course, we had to play Nate's favorite game. What number was that? It's where I grade him on a 1 to 10 scale for how good his jump was. They did so well, I gave them 12. Yeah, you know. Nate just has to pick one foot up and put it down in front of the other. And I'm like, oh, look at you. You're the golden boy. That was a 13. Anyway, you'll see I used the little flags over here and the little button, all from that basic grade collection. This little chipboard element here, I stamped 2012. That came from the collection. This I cut out. It was, a whole bunch of those cutouts on one 12 by 12 page. And the tickets over here read, ticket for flying rabbits is what that ticket says. So that was perfect. Let me zoom in now. See the ticket? I don't know if you can read that or not, but it says something for flying rabbits. I really like these basic gray collections from Joanne. And these little circles were on the cardstock stickers from the collection. And I just put them together and slapped some red cardstock in the back to make my little title holder thingy. I really like those little flare buttons from Jenny Bolin. That Brad is also from the Basic Gray collection. I got him jumping in mid-air there. And his little tag says, "You're amazing." Got some washi tape that came from Paper Issues on Etsy. That sounds familiar. Either there's an echo in here, or I said that before. I really love these little tags from my mind's eye. I don't know why I don't use them more often. See my little element there. And there you go. Now hang on, I got another one for you. Okay, and here's another double page layout from Winter Break 2012. The background paper, is Fancy Pants Oh, what's it called? Fancy pants. Childish things. This is that blue cardstock I was telling you about. It's as close to a deep dark navy blue as I've ever been able to find, and it's Basil Basics, and it's called Midnight, and it is textured. It has just a little texture on front. If you ever buy cardstock like this, you want to emboss or stamp on it, just flip it over and use the smooth side. You probably already know that, but it took me a couple of years to figure out, so maybe somebody else out there is a ding-a-ling too and didn't think of it. But I really like that, and I think it's going to go great with the trendsetters and the down by the what? Down by the what? Beach or ocean? Oh, I forget. But it's a new fancy pants collections that are out with the navy blues. Let's see. This white cardstock is just that white cardstock stack from Walmart, put out by Colorbach. Punchinella, silver, and I kind of just distressed it a little bit. I stamped the letters and numbers here using Quinn's Alphabet stamps by Lawn Fawn. That is still my favorite. Yeah, it's my favorite alphabet stamp ever. Now, the good thing, I don't have the number set yet. It's on my list. And what I did, since I didn't have that, is just use the letter L and O's. I embossed those letters using white embossing powder. You'll see my little commas and quotation marks here. That's the same thing. They really are quotation marks. But when I needed a comma, and they're not the best commas in the whole wide world, but what I did is put a piece of tape over one of them, stamped it in my ink, and then took the tape off so that it only stamped one of the quotation marks. And that came from a Studio Calico stamp set. See these little tags up here? They came from that new stamp set that I got because Rashida had it. And what is that? Studio 2LE, is that what it's called? If it's not, I'll put the name here on the screen for you. I did these so long ago, I've forgotten what kind of products I used. This is that new Amy Tangerine stamp, or Dear Lizzie. Dear Lizzie? Let's say this, American Crafts. And I embossed that with fine detail silver embossing powder that I picked up from Simon Says Stamp. And let me tell you, there is a world of difference, I think, with the fine detailed embossing powders. I love the look of embossed stamps, but I've always struggled so much getting them to look halfway decent. And I can definitely tell a difference now that I have my little embossing buddy thing. You know, it has that powder in it. You rub it on your paper before you emboss. Now, I noticed some of the girls here on YouTube, and even Justy. Hi, Justy. I miss your videos. He has like this thing, it looks like, well, I'm going to be honest. You know what it looks like? And you're going to know what I'm talking about, especially if you're a mommy. Remember when the kids are babies and you got that spongy, squishy thing that goes like this to suck their boogies out of their nose, and you stick it up there, the bulb, it's a bulb, that's what it's called. You stick it in their nose and you give it a squish and it sucks out boogies. It looks like one of those, except it has a brush at the end and you wipe it on your paper. I think I like that one better, but it's called an embossing buddy too. I don't know where they got those, but I think Jan, who is Poke Fan 2001, hi Jan, has one. So go over and check her videos out and ask her about her boogie buggy bubble bulb. Ask her about her embossing buddy. Anyway, back to the layout. This stamp right here, also Studio Calico. You'll see I put some vellum as my first layer there and roughed it up on the edges a little. And that is also Studio Calico. There's one there, and there's one over here. What else? Remember these things? Okay, I hoarded those for like 3 years, but it's the K.I. Memories, little sticky words. They had them in like black and white. I love them, but I have like one package of each, and that's the first time I ever used them. And I bought it when it was like at the height of its popularity, which was definitely 2 to 3 years ago. I finally busted out on it. See, I'm getting better. What else to tell you? I think that's about it. So anyway, that's Fancy Pants, Childish things. And can you see what I did here? I took that midnight. I am so sorry that keeps falling, but you can see pretty. Ugh. Okay. Oh, and then these are just little blings, like the kind I picked up from Joanne for $1. Anyway, see how I slanted that? Now here's the problem, is I only had one piece of this striped paper, and it looked so good with his little jacket and hat and the red and blue thing going on, and I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to make this work? So what I had to end up doing is really piecing this together, and you can see over here there's a little slit, but it worked, so I made a 12 by 12 piece of paper stretch all the way across. But of course there's no paper behind this. Where there's a will, there's a way. Now, the title reads, Let's Do It Again, times 1 million. Now, this is actually the second part of a 4-page in total layout. The page that's before this in my scrapbook album, when I make it, will say from apprehension and nervousness to let's do it again times 1 million, because Nate was so scared to get on that sled and go down this teeny tiny hill. But once he did it a couple times, he was fine. And I didn't know what to name this layout. I could have named it, but I don't want to go inside 3 hours later. Or how about, I have frostbite. So he certainly did have a great time sledding. This again is on winter break when Logie was here to spend the night with us. And this house was just Party City. I used the silver punchinella and the silver dots here because I think it looks very icy and cold. I don't know if it portrays that, but that's my, MO. That's what I had in mind. Let me zoom in, guys. Now, if you're looking for some of this blue Basil's Cardstock. You can find it at scrapjazz.com. That's the place I found it at its cheapest. See how that stretches across the whole width of the layout. There it goes. Happy memories. Oh, and I started to tell you I slanted that blue cardstock to kind of make it look like he's going downhill. And there you can see a little bit of the apprehension. I'm really loving my little tab stamps. Okay, guys. I think what I'll do is come back and do a few more layout shares, and I actually have a video for a challenge that Jess is holding. And Jess is the owner of Happy Scrappy Mamas, I think is the name of it. Anyway, she's having a challenge, and I'll be back with my entry and more information on that challenge, because she extended the time so you can still join in and win a nice prize. But I hope I win. Maybe I shouldn't tell y'all about it. Okay, I'll be back. Thanks for watching, guys.